Okay, welcome everyone. This is the Millennial Investor here with the October update. So the month of September has been quite a different month for me versus the typical months that I've been having with Lending Club. But let me go ahead and show you my Lending Club account. And as you'll notice, I'm only up about $5 or so from the month of October, which isn't a lot. So if I break it down for you, during the early months of September, I had a number of notes, kind of all within the same time frame or so. Just happened to go into grace period, and some of them did, clear, but some didn't. And I'm not a huge fan of grace period notes, so I ended up selling those notes as well as some of the other ones for between a $5 and a $10 loss. And that kind of pushed down my earnings for this month so that I'm only sitting at about a $5 gain. Now that gain can improve if these notes do pay through, which I do believe one of them will, and the other one I'm looking into. So if I open this up, you're going to notice that there's two notes in grace. Everything else is working perfectly fine. And if I show you those notes, I believe this note's going to pay off because I've reviewed their information. And they also, scheduled a payment plan. They contacted the lending club before their note was due and indicated that it was going to, go overdue. So they are on a plan. I do believe that they're going to pay through all that stuff. But this note over here, this one's an anomaly. And if I open up that information, uh, the reason it's an anomaly is because when a note gets overdue, Lending Club immediately starts contacting the person who owns the loan or who's using that loan money, and starts calling them, starts trying to collect on them, things like that. But it's been over a week, and according to their history, they've done nothing. Lending Club has done absolutely nothing to try and retrieve my money, whereas for anyone else, they would start a collection log and they would update it daily pretty much to let the the lenders know what's happening. But for this note, none of that information exists. So I'm not sure if that's because, Lending Club there's something happened between the person and Lending Club or something else, but uh, not 100% sure. Also, this isn't the kind of note that I usually invest in. In fact, when I looked at the original listing, I was rather confused because let's take a look at this information. They have a 0% debt to income. They have zeros on everything else. They have a gross income of only $1,400. So everything here, they got a great credit score, but everything else here kind of seems fake. Even if their gross income is true, it's a low gross income. It's not something that I would stake in or invest in, especially when they have to pay 10% of that to Lending Club on top of whatever debts they're not actually revealing. So when I looked at this information, it didn't seem like something I invest in. So that leads me to two possible conclusions. One, this information was changed, and it was not the original information that I was looking at. Or two, the more likely thing is that when I was investing in notes, I accidentally clicked on a note above or below the one I actually wanted, and I invested in them. And I didn't catch it, and since it was paying, I didn't notice it until it didn't pay, and I looked at this and I was just very confused. So I don't know what's happening with this note, but rest assured I will contact Lending Club about it just to see what's happening with respect to this. Okay, so if I show you my Lending Club details, I'm still at about 13%, $6,400, but like I said, this number or the amount I have, 6525 or so, it's remained relatively still. I want to say like my earnings uh, for the last month were probably about a 1% APY, which, it's not that good. It's savings account levels. And in terms of interest, I've made $300 worth of interest, but I really only have $125 to show for it. So, that isn't that great. There's definitely interest there. It's still definitely better than putting in a CD or a savings account. But if this keeps up, it won't be. So it's just something I have to consider whether or not this is a viable platform or not. But other than that, things are looking good. If I have any recommendations I would say that in the future, I'm going to be investing less in the D, E, and F loans and anything below that, just because at least from the month of October or September, these notes were the ones that were causing the issues, and everything else seemed to be working just fine. Okay, well, that's Lending Club. In terms of Prosper, Prosper's doing great. They've made all their payments. I had nothing go in grace period. Everything's looking great. I made about $11, which is good for $1,000. Nothing's late. Everything's current, and it's been great. In terms of a bigger breakdown, I've made $51 to date on a $1,000 investment, so that's 5% right there, and that number hopefully will continue to grow. My notes are 207 days old, and even though I've had a couple go in grace and then immediately jump out, like things have remained relatively consistent, and I'm feeling very confident as Prosper as a platform. So there's my information, 12.6 APY. Things, are getting paid off. And I'm going to continue with Prosper as well, especially since, things have been working really well with them. So yeah, that's my information. Obviously not as high as I would like, but that's perfectly fine. Lending Club and Prosper combined make up less than 10% of my total investment portfolio, and things are going great because I've already maxed out my retirement account, and I'm on track of doing well with my 401 and all that jazz. So yeah, what I'm doing with the money that I normally put in Lending Club and Prosper is I'm just putting it in the stock market right now, and that's looking pretty good at the moment. So I might start sharing that information with you, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I do apologize, I cannot give any direct financial advice. I can only talk about things with respect to, my investments and my earnings and things like that. But if you have any questions about those, please let me know. And yeah, I guess I'll see you for November. So anyway, this is the Millennial Investor signing out. I'll see you all later. Peace.